Gay is a radio where you are family. I'm Rian and I am talking to Niels Jansen. I think the most important thing is as well, you are Mr. Gay Denmark.
Yes.
But I think you should have been Mr. Gay Europe.
Oh, thank you. I think that actually this was a good thing. Um, I think Enrique is going to be a really good Mr. Gay Europe. I think he is just a little bit more mentally robust than I am. I'm still struggling with my mental health. Um, I'm in a really really good place right now, but being Mr. Gay Europe is a lot of pressure, and just think you need to be like a special kind of person to handle it. And I don't know if I'm that person, but I'm just really proud of how far I got being just me. And I think Enrique will do a great job. And I'm so happy being first runner up because I can focus on, doing my project and not having to do Mr. Gay Europe stuff on top of it. Because there's a lot of blog posts you have to write. There's a lot of, meetings you have to go to. And I think that would have been stressful for me to do all that. But I would have done it, no question about it, and I would have tried my best. But I do realize my own limitations, and I think first runner up is kind of like the right place for me to be.
Now, I think for our listeners, what makes us just so special and so unique, and I just love this whole thing about all of this, is you
Yeah.
have become the first transgendered man
Yes.
to take first runner-up place in the pageant.
I've actually become the first transgender man to win a national Mr. Gay competition. Now there is a Mr. Gay Philadelphia, Jay Cutler, who but that's not a national competition. And then there was a contestant in Mr. Gay Island named Sean Mahan, who competed but didn't win. I'm the first one to win a national competition, so that's pretty unique. And I hope I won't be the last, because I hope that I can inspire other trans people that this is something you definitely do belong in this competition, and that you have a lot to contribute.
Niels, what made you decide to take part in pageants?
In Denmark, the competition actually changed this year. Like the two past years, there was no competition, and this year they decided to change the contest. They wanted to find an LGBT ambassador, like somebody who represent the community. So it wasn't really about beauty or swimwear or anything like that. They wanted to find a person who could do like activism. And I've been doing activism a long time, but it was transgender activism. I needed to do something that was related to me being gay. I needed to go and fix the gay community, or try to fix the gay community, because I am a second class citizen in the gay community. I'm a trans guy, and I don't really belong. I feel, and I feel that I need to do something about that. I need to find a way to talk about, well, how do we make the gay community more inclusive to identities that don't really fit in. It's not just me. It's people that are disabled, or people of color, or people of maybe that have a different religion than others, or on numerous things where we just feel like we are on the outside of the community, that we don't belong. And I think it's an important point to make, that we do belong, and we have just as much right to be there as everybody else.
Then, of course, you won. When did you win Mr. Gay Denmark?
I did at the end of May this year.
So you just missed Mr. Gay World here in South Africa.
Well, I'm coming next year.
So you're coming next year?
Yes. So the Mr. Gay World is in Cape Town next year, in I think in April 28th to May 4th in 2019. It was moved from Hong Kong because Hong Kong, apparently they're clamping down on the LGBT community, and they didn't feel that they were able to protect us properly. So it was moved to Cape Town. So it's in Africa again, which I'm looking forward to. So it was never the intention to participate in Mr. Gay World 2018, but I'm definitely coming in 19. Even though Mr. Gay Europe was really really hard, and it was a struggle, and I don't know how I survived it. And I know Mr. Gay World is going to be a lot harder, but I think it's important to show up. I might not do well, but I am going to show up.
Well, we're talking about Mr. Europe. What was that experience like for you? You say it was hard.
Yes, it was difficult for me because I'm an introvert, right? And I was surrounded by people all the time. We were I was sharing a room with somebody, and in general, we had activities to do, and we were just, in this, you know, communal situation all the time, and that was extremely difficult for me. So, and it was also hard because, um, we were living in a hostel, which was like there was seven gay guys and one bathroom, basically. So we got very, very close. And another thing was it was very, very hot in Poland at the time. It was like I think it peaked at 36 degrees centigrade, you know, and it was just there was no air conditioning anywhere. So we were hot and we were stressed. And then I got sick. So I had a cold on top of everything else. So it was just really, really hard, and I was struggling with my mental health. Also, what was really hard for me was there was a lot of partying. So basically, in Poland, the way they got sponsors for Mr. Gay Europe was it was only like the local clubs that wanted to sponsor, which meant that we had to go to those clubs and kind of help, bring in, people. And for me, being in a loud environment and being in an environment where there's a lot of bright lights, it just does not agree with me at all. So that was extremely difficult, because I get overstimulated and overwhelmed, and just I was just like, this is so hard. It was so hard for me, and I don't know. I mean, just being, just having my mental health was just, it was just on the forefront of my mind all the time. How do I protect myself? How do I take care of myself? And fortunately, Mr. Gay Europe is like, they are, they're extremely aware of this, and I had a good relation with them. There was times when it was like, I can't be at this party anymore. Is it okay if I go home and rest now? And they would just agree, yeah, just go. It's okay. So they took care of me, but I also had to really take care of myself and really just, you know, this is the boundary. I can't go on anymore, even though I want to, even though I want to make a good impression, even though this is part of the job. I just couldn't do it anymore, and it was a hard line to kind of find. Is because I was in a contest with other people and I wanted to do well, but there were just things I couldn't do. So it was really hard, but it was really, really rewarding. I mean, I met guys that I know will be my friends forever, and that's really special to me. And just, I mean, it's a small thing, but just being like, I was one morning I was standing and I was shaving, and since there's only one bathroom, other guys were there too, and we were kind of chatting, and just being in that situation where we're just a guy among guys. I've never had that. I mean, I've never been to summer camp with other boys because I was, with the girls. I've never been a part of a group of men that felt comfortable before. And that was just very, very special to me to be able to do that. So even though it's hard mentally, it was also extremely rewarding. And I'm so glad I did it. And, at the end of it, at the end of that week, I was like, I can't do Mr. Gay World. I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to go through this one more time. It's impossible. But just a couple of days after I came home, I was like, yep, I'm going. I'm doing it again. So I'm ready to do it. I don't know how I'm going to survive, but I hope that, the organizers will take into consideration that I'm not like everybody else and I just can't do everything that everybody else. But I will try. I will try to do my best, but there's just things I can't do.
You must be very proud of yourself looking back at
I
what you've accomplished.
I am. I am extremely proud of myself, and just getting so close to actually winning was just. I mean, I'm the first trans guy to ever compete, and I came in second. That's pretty good. And just, I'm very proud of the fact that, I went, I took the chance. I knew it was going to be hard, and I did it anyway. I mean, for me, that's a victory in itself. I was there on the last day because when I went, I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do it. I was like, I talked to my producer and I said, hey, if I can't do this, I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. But if it's too much, it's too much. And he was just, oh, yep, that's the way it is. You're going to go as far as you can. If you can't go anymore, you still did your best. And just knowing that made me just go the extra mile. There was no time where I considered quitting while I was there. I mean, before I was concerned about, can I really do this? I don't know. But when I was there, I was like, yep, I'm going to do this. I'm going through it. I might not be able to do everything, but I'm going to do the best I could. And I really did really well. And just I hope that the trans community it can see me and see that it's actually possible. Even though I do have mental health issues. I'm very open about that because I lived a life where I had a lot of stress. I was not, the person that I was meant to be. And I've had issues with anxiety and depression. I was very open about this. It's not easy being trans. I mean, it does sometimes, not always, but sometimes come with, additional diagnoses because it's just such a stressful life. And if you're stressed, you do get, mental health conditions. So I was at a disadvantage just for being who I am. But just the fact that I made it work, I went through it. It does make me very proud.
Have you had any negative experiences and responses to you taking part in the pageant?
There was one because I when I won Mr. Gay Denmark, it was news all over the world. I mean, I was in, I got Twitter messages from Mongolia, and I was in Turkish newspapers, and because I was the first trans guy to win a national competition, and most of them were very positive and very congratulatory, and that was fine. But there's this one place on the internet, and that is a place where people come to be negative. And unfortunately, a link to that was posted somewhere, and I happened to click on it, and I saw some of the comments, and it was a sewer, basically. And so I quickly clicked away from it and left it alone. But that does exist out there. You cannot be a public trans person without getting some sort of negative response. But compared to what it could have been, it's been great. I mean, I haven't been harassed, and except for those places on the internet where people go to be, aggressive and mean, there hasn't been anything negative about it. There hasn't been anything negative, in my local community, which I'm very appreciative of. It wasn't like people, when I won, people said I was the right winner, which was I'm extremely proud of because there were some guys there that were, very well known in the community, very well known for their activism, very good guys that I'm friends with. And I just, for them, even them to say that I was the right winner just meant a lot to me. Um, so I've been extremely lucky. And I don't know if it's because I'm a man, because I know trans women get harassed a lot more than trans men. Or maybe it's just being in the right place at the right time that makes, people not go off on me in the same way as they go off on other people. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in Mr. Gay World. That's something, but so far so good. I haven't really had anything negative to say.
What do you do when you don't take part in pageants?
So for work, I'm a software developer. So, okay, the story is that I have a PhD in astrophysics, and I did science for a number of years. I quit science, and then I sort of came into software development because what I did when I did science was I made computer models of colliding black holes. And so I was already used to programming, and that's what I did. So when I quit my scientific career, I sort of stumbled upon web development, and I sort of stayed in that ever since. Actually, I visited South Africa because I went to a scientific conference in 2001. It was called GR16, General Relativity 16. And so that's actually the reason why I visited your country, is that it was part of my work to get a PhD, to go to this conference.
So you are not just a pretty face.
Well, I don't know if I'm a pretty face, but I'm pretty smart, actually.
I think these both
uh,
do.
yeah. I did with like the parts of the Mr. Gay Europe that was about being smart. Those competitions I won. What I think I lost was photo shoot and sports challenge and social media and vote and stuff like that. I didn't do so well on those, but for the interview and the written test, those I had down.
How do you think contests like these have helped you to create a platform to get your message out there?
Well, I think that um, at least Mr. Gay Denmark has made me able to reach into the gay male community in a way that I didn't before. Before, I mean, I was pretty well known as a trans activist, and in the community that knows about trans activism, our people knew about me. But I think having this platform just gave me an opportunity to reach a group of people that I haven't been able to reach before. I think that trans men have a lot to give to the gay community, and I think that the gay community has a lot to give to me. So I think it's for me personally, it's just been very rewarding to be able to work in this direction. Um, and I think that's what it's given me. It's like an opportunity to just be part of the gay community and to be able to help improve it.
Causes that's close to your heart?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Causes that's close to your heart. What causes do you start?
Causes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Of obviously trans rights. Because it's we can't improve our situation if we can't improve our rights in the world. So, but also, it's like rape culture in the gay community, because my project for Mr. Gay Europe and Mr. Gay World is to try to find out how men are hurt by the gay community. And even though it's not something I ask for, like I go out and I interview men and I ask them, how have you been hurt by others in the LGBT community? And there are a lot of rape stories. There's a lot of stories of sexual assault. And for me, it's very, very, very important that we start talking about this, because I think that as gay men, we are very cautious about having a conversation about these things because people think we are predators anyway. People think we are pedophiles and predators. So it's very difficult to actually sit down and say, yeah, some of us are predators. What are we going to do about it? Some of us are victims. What are we going to do about it? And I think it's very close to my heart, because it's very difficult to listen to how hurt some men have been by other gay men. And it's just from, I talked to a guy who's a very beautiful man, and he can just not go into a gay bar without getting grabbed, either his crotch or his ass. It just he has never ever been able to go into a bar and been left alone, and that is a big problem. That is something we need to talk about. We need to talk about consent. We need to talk about, well, how do we not do this to each other? Because I think we hurt each other a lot more than we should. I know we are oppressed, and I know we take it out on each other, but there's a big problem, and we need to have that conversation.
Gay Radio, where you are family. I'm Rian, and that was Niels Jansen, Mr. Gay Denmark, talking to us about winning that pageant.